Hi and welcome back to Save with Crypto. My name is Save with Crypto and it's Sunday evening. It's actually coming up to 10:30 p.m. on Sunday the 19th of July. I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin against the US dollar. I'm actually using the Bitstamp chart here because it's got a lot of history. I think it's one of the the oldest charts on TradingView. I'm just going to talk about something that happened on Friday, and then we'll sort of move into the reasons why I think Bitcoin will probably go up from here. It might wick down a little bit first, but I think we're pretty much near some sort of bottom. But I'll explain why in a moment. Anyway, so looking at it on the 1 hour time frame. Now, on the live stream with maff on Friday, I was looking at the price of Bitcoin and I was using our indicator, which is called Quadzilla. So if I just pop that on for a moment, what Quadzilla does, it draws in this momentum oscillator down here at the bottom and also lots of stuff up the top, which includes these retracement levels. So this green horizontal line here, this actually started plotting on Tuesday the 14th of July. So that was last Tuesday, wasn't it? So it started doing that. And what this means, it means it's very likely that the price of Bitcoin, or whatever asset you're looking at, will go up to a high level, come back down here. It usually overshoots a little bit, and then eventually it will go back up again. That's the case with these green ones. And then there's a bearish one as well, which is a red one, where it does the opposite. Now, these tend to complete with amazing accuracy. In fact, it's something like well over 90% of the time for most time frames with most assets, certainly with Bitcoin on these larger time frames. Anyway, so we kind of knew that the price would come back down. So I was quite disappointed that on Friday we came down to here at 8 o'clock in the morning and it missed the actual retracement level by about $65. And it was a bit of a joke really, but I just wanted to have a bit of fun with math because he coded this indicator. I wanted to have a bit of fun with him to sort of say what on earth is going on. You know, the indicator didn't work properly because the retracement level was $65 too low and it didn't complete. And quite rightly he said, well, there's two things about that. One thing is the fact that if it didn't make it, it means that things are quite bullish. And secondly, it means that if it didn't make it down there then, it probably would later. Would you know it, that during the actual live stream, in fact this was actually at 2 o'clock, the price did indeed come down there and did exactly what it's supposed to do. It overshot slightly and then went back up. Now that was a pretty good moment for an entry, and I did take along on ByBit. So if I look at this, you can see that my entry price was 62,767. So not quite as good as it could have been, but not bad. And we're currently up at 64,385. So I was doing that on 25x leverage, so I'm currently 61% up. So this is all looking pretty nice. The position wasn't as big as I'd like it to have been, but nevertheless, it's okay. Okay, so why do I think that the price of Bitcoin might go up from now? Well, it's basically because if you zoom out to the weekly chart, you can see that the price is doing something very, very similar here to what it did here. Now, I will copy this pattern in a moment, but that isn't the reason I think it will go up. It's basically because this momentum oscillator down here, back here, this came down super low, well below the 20% mark. And then what happens here is we started to get these like red triangles. This is what we call the trend shield. That means that everything's looking like the price should reverse, but it's not. Just hang on a minute till these red triangles stop appearing. And they stopped appearing here around about February 2023. The price of Bitcoin was around about 22.5k then. And obviously it went up from there to the all-time high. So that was pretty cool. So what have we got now? Well, we've got the the convergence band coming down here really, really low. And we're starting to get this green bar here, which is a sign that the price could reverse, just like it did back here. However, back here, it didn't go up straight away. It tried to, and then it got pulled back again, stayed really low with the trend shields, and eventually it went up. So I am actually going to use the bars pattern to copy all this price action, because to me that looks something like what we have here, something like that. Let me just turn off Quadzilla so we can see what we're looking at. Now that to me is not dissimilar. Now it might not follow that exactly, but it looks pretty damn close to me. But let's get more technical. Let's just get rid of that and let's look at the MACD. Now I'm still here on the weekly time frame, and to me this looks like the MACD is about to turn positive. If we look back in the past when it did that, it did it here, and the price went up to the all-time high. You can see it did it here, and the price went up about 70%. When it did it here in October 2023, it went up about 161%, but realistically carried on up to the all-time high, another 350%. So there's that. Even if we go out further to the monthly time frame, this is quite incredible, because you can see that in the past decade the MACD has been negative 1, 2, very small, 3, and now 4 times. And what we're seeing now is the MACD at its lowest level it's ever been, and we've started getting this fluctuation between the pink and the red bars here in the MACD. Now this is not quite as neat as what happened in 2022, but you can see that when we went pink in October 2022, we were at about 15k, and then obviously did something like an 8 or 9x to get to the all-time high. So this makes me think that this price action is actually very oversold at the moment, and it's only a matter of time before the bull will step in and push the price higher. Okay, well, what could go wrong in the meantime? Let's go back to Quadzilla and let's look at something like the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, well, you can see the problem here is that these green retracements stand a pretty good chance of getting retraced to, and we do have one down here at below 60k, something like 59.7. Maybe we'll see something on the daily time frame as well. And if you want to get super scary, there is things like the daily time frame that does have these levels here down at 26k, 23k and 16.5k. How likely are these to get closed? Well, let's have a look at the stats in Quadzilla. So we can do that by enabling the stats module for the retracement levels, and that shows you that the bullish retracement levels since the 18th of August 2011, okay, so that's over the past 15 years, there's been 64 of those and 52 of them have completed, so that's 81.25%. That sounds high. It's not as high as some time frames though. So for example, if we were to go back to the 4-hour time frame, we would see that the likelihood of these bullish retracements being completed is much higher at 93.62%. So this is making me think that there is a strong possibility of some kind of quick wick down before we go up. But overall, I think it looks bullish. Anyway, that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I mean, since I started making the video, Bitcoin has shot up quite a bit there. So my trade's looking a bit better, 73.6% in profit. Not bad. If you want to trade on ByBit, by the way, go to savewith.crypto.org/ByBit, and I've got some really good sign-up bonuses there where you can get up to $30,000 for free. So yeah, make sure you do that. All right, take care. Anyway, it's monthly close in about an hour and a half, but I'm going to go to bed. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be doing a live stream with maff at around about 1 o'clock UK time. And yeah, see you there. All right, take care. Bye. Please note that this content is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial advice. Any information or opinions provided are not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. A full legal disclaimer is in the description of each video and live stream.